My name's Jo Yates and I'm the Regional Editor for NewsQuest Cumbria. Delighted to be bringing you an interview today with a Cumbrian businesswoman as part of International Women's Day, which is on March the 8th. Sarah, do you mind introducing yourselves to our audience?
No, hello everybody. I'm Sarah Swindley. I'm Chief Executive of the Lake District Foundation and a Non-Executive Director of Cumbria Local Enterprise Partnership.
Thanks, Sarah. So we've just been having a chat about women in business, leadership in particular. Can you give us some examples of how you've supported women, young women perhaps, into leadership roles via mentoring, either in your current role or perhaps in some roles that you've previously held?
Yeah, absolutely. And being a woman has always obviously been part of my kind of leadership journey, and I've always been really keen that I support those around me to develop and flourish and spot talent in people and allow them to unlock their potential, be they male or female. I would say that in my previous role, before I ran the organisation I run now, I ran Lancashire and Cumbria Women's Services, and was really inspired not just by women in leadership there, but by women who are accessing services but had incredible amounts of resilience, had unbelievable life stories, and in some ways they've been the inspiration for what I've been able to achieve, rather than women that may have maybe been in more senior roles at the time. That's not to say that I've not learnt a lot from women around me. I think I absolutely had, from mother and grandmother to chairs of boards that I've been involved with, and particularly women in senior roles in the NHS juggling a whole range of life challenges and unbelievably challenging roles. And I think that kind of resilience that's shown under pressure is something that inspires me every day.
And you're also a non-executive director for the LEP?
I am, for the Local Enterprise Partnership, yes, absolutely. And I've been there, I think, about 6 years now. It's been an incredible experience, actually, to see we have a female chief exec there, and we've really worked hard on gender balance on the board in the Local Enterprise Partnership, because we definitely believe that diverse boards are more effective boards. It's not about tokenism, it's about people being there from whatever community on their own merit, but absolutely not recruiting in our own image all the time, because I think that can be quite dangerous and mean that conversations get locked in somehow. And the LEP's been a great example of that. And I've met some very inspiring women through that work, whether they're senior in business in the county or whether they're running large charities or just working with incredible pace through governance and really complex strategic capital projects as well for us. So yeah, that diversity is hugely important to our delivery.
Is there any advice you would give to anyone that is starting out? Because some people might be overwhelmed at the thought of ever being in a leadership position, or someone might be in middle management. Have you got any advice for anyone, and how do they seek support if they were looking to advance their career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the greatest skills that I've learned are about bravery and a bit of risk taking and not being frightened to have a go at things. Nobody enters into anything knowing all the answers or exactly how you might deliver a role, but actually just being confident enough to stand up and say, yes, I've got some ideas here and my voice is valid and I can give this a go. I think life can make that hard and we don't always feel super resilient to stuff, but understanding that everybody gets up some days and thinks, oh my goodness, I've no idea where to start. So I mean, sometimes I'll think, I don't know what my job is today. But actually just having that confidence to give things a go and not be frightened to step forward and say, yes, I've got some good ideas here and my voice is valid. I think that's not everybody. People are sometimes better at pretending that they know exactly how things should be, but that's not the truth. I think it is very often about confidence.
And is it okay for not everything to work out and for
Absolutely.
Not everything to be brilliant?
Absolutely, and I think that I'm really passionate about showing vulnerability in leadership. So with my team, I'll say I really am struggling with this. I've no idea what we're doing with this, and then seek advice and support from people around me. I think one of my few skills is about being able to spot talent in people and recruiting people who have more expertise in specific areas than I do. I'm a good generalist. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I'm make sure that I surround myself with people who know far more than I do, and my skills are about unlocking that talent there. So yes, definitely. And I've made tons of mistakes in my career and missteps, and there's always huge learning in that. I think that kind of is what drives us forward, and not being frightened to fail. I think we can get very frightened to fail, and that's where that risk taking comes in. And it's risk taking within boundaries. I'm not saying be ridiculous about things, but I do think that being confident enough to fail is really important. There's always huge learning in that.
Do you think there are stark differences between managers and leaders?
Yes, I would say so. I think I'm quite a bad manager, but quite a good leader. I would say I'm good at. I'm not great with a boss, I suppose. I'm good at strategic direction, seeing the big picture, seeing how things can fit together. Not super great with detail. I can do it if I have to, but that's not my comfort zone. And I think being a good manager is about that attention to detail. I think I'm happy to be the person the buck stops with, and I've got no problem in making decisions once I've gathered information and listened to people around me. But I think good managers need to have empathy, and in most organisations, staff are our greatest asset, and making sure that the well-being of staff is supported and they're given freedom within boundaries to be able to unlock their personal potential, and that's the skill of a good manager. I've been a manager with a leader, and it's not my most comfortable position, but yeah, definitely it's about that, being able to get rid of some of that fear of failure, I think, is the most important thing in leadership. But yeah, absolutely being able to say this is the wrong direction, we need to change our approach, and not seeing that as failure, I think, is really important too.
And you've mentioned the word mentoring a couple of times. Yeah. How important is it to you that you ensure that your team have someone to talk to? It might be personal reasons, might be professional, but being able to feel that security and comfort that there are people around, but that they are being mentored, that there is development.
It's massively important to me. I mean, earlier in my career, I trained as a counsellor, so I worked in mental health services for a long time and saw the importance of well-being for people and having a safe space to be able to kind of explore how they were feeling about things. And I think I bring some of that into my leadership role now. I don't practice as a counsellor now. I haven't got the attention span for it probably. But I make sure that staff wellbeing is hugely important. And we've really worked on that at the Local Enterprise Partnership as well. I would say Jo, the Chief Exec there, is great at supporting and advocating for her staff. And yes, recognising that life gets challenging, whether you're male or female. I've had huge personal challenges, as have many people in my organisation. And understanding that to get the best out of people, which is best for the business and also is the morally right thing to do, sometimes you have to give people space to really kind of, personal life comes into work sometimes, and we've got to kind of work with that.
You've mentioned personal life, and that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
How do you, because you've got such a busy life clearly, professionally, you're on boards, you've got your full-time role. How do you make sure that you've got a proper balance in your life?
I mean, I think it's always something I could do better, definitely. And it's more challenging at different life stages. My children are grown up now, so that gets a little bit easier. Work-life balance, we know it's hugely important, but I love my job, I'm passionate about it, and I don't really separate it out as I maybe should do. But it is super important to try and achieve, and always kind of, I suppose what I do is I have a great peer network. I have good female friends and male friends, and also I'm really have a good network of fellow female CEOs, particularly working in the third sector, and we share our challenges, warts and all, and that makes you feel less alone, because leadership can be quite lonely as well, and recognise that everybody's going to work with similar challenges every day. We only get one working day and one chance to make a difference, and it's how we can maximise that, really.
Do you think there have been positive changes in leadership roles for women being possible from whatever age throughout a female's career path? Yes,
I think it has got easier. I would definitely say that. I think as more women have moved into leadership roles, we are more collectively conscious of making sure that young women and all people with talent have got access to things behind us. There are many things that can divide us, whether it's opportunity, education, gender, class, a whole raft of things. And I think it is that spotting talent and clearing the path for people to be able to realise their potential. Definitely easier. I think when I was early in my career, I had young children. That was more challenging. I think we're now more aware of and being family-friendly workplaces. My organisation, I make sure it's very family and life-friendly. We're far less rigid about the kind of 9 to 5 sort of delivery. It's much more about, well, you've got a job to do. I don't really mind at what hours of the day you do the things you need to do, and recognise that if people have got care and responsibilities across the life course, they need to be able to go and address those and then come back into work, because otherwise they'll be distracted and won't be able to do that. So I think, the workplace is much more family friendly than it was, which gives opportunities for people to have a better work-life balance generally, and not feel that they have to make the choices of, is it family or career, is it caring for parents, whatever it is, or is it my career. It can be both. It's not easy having it all. Definitely not, but I think as long as we kind of understand how challenging life can be for people, and in work, poverty is a huge challenge for people at the moment as well. People are struggling to make ends meet very often, and that comes into the workplace. So yes, having open doors and being really encouraging people to be honest when life's getting a bit sticky for them, I think it's really important.
If you could, and I'm just throwing this right at you, if you could give me an example of something that professionally gets you out of bed every morning thinking, I'm going to do this today for this reason.
Oh, I mean, I have the best job in the world, honestly. So I run Lake Street Foundation, caring for our amazing national park and trying to raise money and deliver projects to do good work here. My previous job at running women's services, it was much more life and death getting out of bed in the morning, and that was fantastic in different ways, but also extremely stressful. I have to pinch myself sometimes when I'm, driving around the Lake District trying to kind of do amazing stuff here. So that gets me out of bed. The natural environment gets me out of bed. I love swimming. I love getting into the lakes, and I'm fortunate to be able to sometimes fit that into my working day. So I'm really lucky doing that. Yeah, I definitely feel I have the best job in the world to be able to do that. And the economy is such a key part of that. So sometimes people say, oh well, why do you work in the charity sector? And they kind of put their head on one side and go, oh, aren't you fantastic running a charity? And I'm passionate about charities being businesses. We're a huge part of the Cumbrian economy, one of the largest employers, and also bring many millions of pounds into the economy each year. So how I can support other charity leaders to be entrepreneurial, to have a business sense running through their charities, that's the stuff I really enjoy. But yeah, I like getting in the water, getting up a mountain, seeing the birds, and when I get fed up, if I go and swim in the water, if it's all getting a bit too much for me, then the stresses do melt away a little bit too.
That sounds just the perfect job. I'm very envious. What is your favourite part of the Lake District?
Well, I mean, I do like to be in the water looking up at the mountains. I will go up a mountain, but it's not my favourite thing to do. But, to be in Was Water looking up at the Scafell Massif there, that's fantastic. Or for a warm swim on a summer night at High Dam, listening to the cuckoos or something, that's you can't beat that, really.
That sounds a must do. And then we've mentioned the local enterprise partnership. Yeah. Is there anything that you would recommend, any messages? I could talk to you for hours, Sarah. You've got so much to tell us, but as we wrap up, is there anything that, as we embark upon International Women's Day and recognise the campaigns about resonance, relevance, belonging, empowerment, is there any final message from you?
So I think in the local enterprise partnership, we've really worked hard to put Cumbria on the map, thinking about the strategic economic work that can be done collectively. And I think that's had female leadership written right throughout of it. And that idea, as I say, of diverse boards being the most effective and the most representative, we try to represent the business voice in the county. And I think we've done a lot of work to be able to do that, where we've got people from a whole range of different backgrounds, different industries, who come together with a kind of single purpose to make sure that Cumbria is the thriving place it is.
Sarah, thank you so much. As I say, I could spend hours just chatting to you, but you've got a very important job to do. So for now, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.